every one of those warriors left behind an entire family, a community. For us, every one of them. 52,419 wounded. But as a veteran can tell you, over 200,000 coming home with unseen wounds. I don't think he was trying to be mean. He is just so thoroughly, completely uninformed.
Well, that was Vice President Joe Biden delivering an impassioned speech at a rally for Hillary Clinton yesterday, laying into Donald Trump over the businessman's recent remarks regarding veterans and PTSDs. Trump's comments sparked an uproar, but his campaign fired back at the media over the, quote, out-of-context reports. Well, this isn't, of course, the first time that Donald Trump's faced criticism over comments by the vets, and it's not the first time that most say the media has taken it out of context. Let's bring in some folks who know about this kind of stuff. Pete Hegseth, Bryce Reeves, and Jessie Jane Duff here to help break it all down. All right, Gunny, I want to start with you on this. Your thoughts, because you were at this particular event, weren't you?
Yes, I was at this National Security Forum, and absolutely, this was absolutely horrible what the media has done to spin this. Donald Trump spoke for over 30 minutes about issues concerning veterans, how he was going to address our military's problems and our veterans' problems, including PTSD, suicide rates, and the massive wait times within the VA. But you know what the media grabbed onto? 5 seconds of a clip where they now are suggesting that he says veterans are weak. He never used the word weak. I sat within feet from Donald Trump, and I want to assure every veteran who's listening right now, I saw the compassion in his eyes, I saw the empathy, and he reinforced over and over again that he was going to help our military and help our veterans. But for the media to take this and spin it into something this incorrigible is reprehensible to me. It's misrepresenting Donald Trump's efforts and his absolute desire to be a great commander-in-chief. 30 minutes, and this is what they got out of it.
Pete Hegseth, today the New York Daily News had a reply from a mother who was offended at the Donald Trump's comments. So once again, of course, to Jessie Jane's point, the media has taken this and they're really trying to push it forward.
Of course they are, but we heard from the veteran who actually asked the question, and he said Donald Trump answered it exactly as I'd hoped he would, with sincerity, and I give him a lot of credit. I mean, Uncle Joe Biden's faux outrage is ridiculous. Where's he been on vets issues, VA issues? Where's he been leading the charge during this scandal? He's been nowhere to be found. I don't want to hear it from Uncle Joe. The reality is Donald Trump should be lauded for bringing up the VA and raising it as an issue as a presidential candidate in a way that no other presidential candidate in modern history has. He's made VA reform a central platform of his campaign. He should get credit for it.
You know, Bryce, speaking of the VA reform, it's been promised to us. They brought in someone from the private sector, but they stuck them in a system still marbled with bureaucracy. We have really mistreated our vets in this country, haven't we?
Oh, we certainly have. There's no doubt about that. In fact, I penned a letter last week. President Obama was at Fort Lee talking about some of these issues, and I wanted to force that issue of the VA, especially here in Virginia. We have 29 military installations here, and you're talking to somebody who served in uniform and wore the cloth of the country as an infantry officer and an airborne ranger. And so let me tell you something. There is no greater friend to freedom the world has ever known than the U.S. Armed Services. And I'm going to tell you, there's not going to be any better commander-in-chief out of these two candidates than Donald Trump. And I'm going to tell you why. He has surrounded himself with the greatest and finest flag officers you have. I am boots on the ground in Virginia right now, and I can tell you there is a veterans coalition here that is far exceeds anything Hillary Clinton even has or thought about.
Jessie Jane, are you confident in that as well?
Oh, absolutely. I sat there. He did an hour presentation, 30 minutes of questions and answers. And what this demonstrates to me is how desperate the media is to present him in a fraudulent way. If you can only take a 5-second soundbite and then spin it that he doesn't respect these warriors when he clearly stated that he knows we're strong. And for them to say that he said we're weak, that is misrepresentation.
You know, Bryce mentioned Fort Lee. I lived in Fort Lee, Virginia. My father was in the Army, and I got to tell you guys, he waited over 40 years to tell us the stories about Vietnam. He did it this year. I'm not sure what made him do it, but it affected his life dramatically, and he died a month later. So we owe our warriors everything. So I'm glad we discussed it, and I'm glad you guys all joined. Thank you all very much. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Charles.
Thank you, Charles.
All right, guys, thanks at home for watching.